In today's episode, we have a special guest, Dr. Sausan Jabber, sharing 5 steps to bring social justice into the classroom. Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Friday from Eduro Learning. My name is Kim, and I'm the CEO of Eduro Learning. And today I'm excited to be sharing with you a special conversation with Dr. Sausan Jabber. She's talking today about 5 steps to bring social justice into your classroom. This is for coaches and teachers alike, 5 strategies that you can take to bring social justice into any conversation that you're having with students and with adults. I'm so happy to have Dr. Sausan Jabber on the channel today because I met her during our Women Who Lead project, and she is so amazing. I wanted to make sure I amplified her voice here on our YouTube channel as well as on our Coach Better podcast. So if you'd like to hear more from Dr. Sausan Jabber, make sure to check out our Coach Better episode this week, our spotlight here on YouTube, and of course the Women Who Lead project.
Hey, hello everybody, Sausan Jabber here, and I am a consultant of Education Unfiltered and a high school English teacher of 20 years. I've done some leadership work as well, and I'm here to talk to you today about 5 things that teachers should know when doing social justice work in the classroom. And the first one, and the most important one that I'm going to start with, is beginning with yourself and exploring your own beliefs and your positionality and your privilege and the experiences that you have had and have not had that help you to kind of get to where you are. And I think that's the most important thing about social justice work, is always starting with the self. You can't start working with other students before you start with yourself first. The second thing is social justice work needs to include all the stakeholders for it to be successful, and for it to be self-sustaining. When we think about social justice work, we're thinking about community impact. So it can't have community impact if it's happening in the school and in the classroom in isolation. So when we think about social justice work, the question that should be on the forefront of that work is, how can I include all the stakeholders in the conversation and in the process of becoming socially just and looking at social justice topics? The third thing is that an activist scholar understands, and that's a person who's doing social justice work as an educator, is an activist scholar, understands that that teaching is not apolitical. There's no way that you can understand and fight against injustice or talk about injustice without getting into politics. And so, we're not shaping future students for tomorrow without talking about justice and social justice. We're not empowering students of historically marginalized groups without talking about justice and social justice. And so if we're going to do this work, it's definitely political. And that we also have to understand that we need to be able to immerse ourselves in understanding kind of different injustices, and that we have to be advocates against all injustices, because you can't be somebody who's talking about an injustice in one area while contributing to an injustice in another area. And so anybody who's in the education field needs to think about their new role in 2020 and onwards as a disruptor of kind of the systemic oppressions and systems that have been in place from the inception of public education in order to keep certain groups marginalized, and how can I disrupt those systems and replace them with better systems that give every student opportunity. The fourth thing is the misconception, I think, speaking and understanding to the misconception that if we're culturally responsive, then we've made it. We're in a good place. And I'll say that cultural responsiveness is kind of a foundational piece of equity work and social justice work, but it's not the be all and end. It should not be the end goal. Culturally responsive means that we are giving students mirrors, and that they kind of see their voices reflected in the work that we're doing in a classroom. But cultural responsiveness isn't going to create students that kind of can change the status quo and can advocate for justice and become engaged citizens of the world, who know how to kind of navigate information that they're given, and how to find themselves in their voices in the world, and how to change where they are if they're not happy with it. And so I think that we need to start thinking in terms of the critical race theory and how we can really build students that know what their rights are, and how we can use cultural responsiveness in order for us to open doors for students to understand other cultures beyond who they are, and have critical conversations about things and systems and laws and policies and current events and history and how that all plays together, and how they can navigate those worlds in order to change them for the better. The final thing, and then probably one of the more important pieces about justice work, is people understanding that it is gray, it is ongoing, it is not linear. You will make mistakes. And we all do. We all make mistakes, no matter how much we know, no matter how much we engage in this work. We will make mistakes. And so the biggest thing is to be able to take a step back, reflect on the mistakes that we've made, learn from them, and then use them to better our work and to better our kind of our mindset and moving forward, and to continue growing and learning. So those are the 5 things that teachers and people and educators who are doing social justice work, who are activist scholars in the classroom, shaping future activist scholars, should keep in mind.
Thanks for watching today's episode. Don't forget to check out edurolearning.com for more great learning opportunities, and connect with us on social media at Eduro Learning to stay up to date with everything we share.